think the Nissan LEAF chose me, actually. I had no intention of buying a car at all. When I came to the garage, I brought my petrol car in to have it serviced. And while I was waiting around, I thought I'd pop into the showroom and just see what was around. And I spoke to Jeff here, who said that if you didn't want to spend a lot of miles on petrol, how about having no petrol? And showed me the LEAF. I was amazed, because if you'd asked me at that point what electric car technology was all about, I'd have said it was probably a glorified milk float, but it just looked like an ordinary car. And we went for a 15-minute test drive in it, and I was hooked, particularly the acceleration. It just was so responsive. It was comfortable. It looked reasonable. Some people have complained about the look of the car, but I think, I get a car to get me from A to B. I'm not really bothered about whether it looks like a sports car or something. So, yeah, I found that the car, after we'd had it for the 15-minute test drive, I booked a one-day test drive. I'd already had an electric charging point fitted on the front of my house, because I was so convinced that I was going to end up with it. The one day was really just to convince my wife. And after we'd had it for the day, I came in and placed the order. Living with it, probably I've not charged it as often as I thought I would. I've got a friend who's in hospital, and he's had far more visits from me because it was an excuse to get in the LEAF and go somewhere. And the fact that I'm driving modern technology, being a bit of a geek, I appreciate the fact that you've got just an electric motor. There's no gearbox, there's no oil, there's no carburettor, there's no exhaust pipe. I love it. I mean, I can't wait for an excuse to get in it and go somewhere. The fact that I know that I'm driving for almost peanuts. I think I've done something like 2,300 miles, and the total electricity cost is £40. It's just, it's so small you can almost forget about it. We're talking 2.5p a mile or something like that. And if you go for a long drive where you get free electricity all along the motorway, it's nothing per mile. So I find that I charge it probably every 2 to 3 days, depending on how many miles I've done. I suppose the fact that it's only a little thing, but the fact that I can just walk up to the car, and as far as anybody else is concerned, they don't think I've locked it, because I just put my hand on the handle, press the little button, it senses that I've got the fob in my pocket, or within a metre or so, and unlocks the car, so I then just get in. So the fact you can turn the air conditioning on and the heating or the cooling could be nice. If you're in the bathroom shaving, you think it's a bit cold today, let's put the heating on, so whilst the car is plugged into the house supply, you can preheat it or pre-cool it, because the car is just so quiet. I think that's another thing. I have a hearing problem, and it's always difficult for me to have conversations in cars. But now with the electric motor, there's no noise at all other than the road noise or the noise from the wheels. So the fact that it's quiet, it really makes you feel like you're driving a Rolls Royce. You start to worry about whether you can hear the clock ticking. So yes, the fact that it's quiet is another really big feature for me. Yes, we had to go to Tenby about a month after I bought the car, and I was a little bit worried about whether it would get there without running out of charge. But in fact, using Zap Maps to see where all the charging stations were, because most of the journey is along the M4, Ecotricity have got points in at almost all the service stations on the M4, and they're all free. So really, every time I passed by a service station, I popped in, I topped up, and of course the advantage of topping up rather than charging from flat is that you get the biggest amount of charge in the shortest amount of time. But it was enjoyable, it was all the time you're driving along, you're thinking, this is for free. And so we did the 750 miles, and there was absolutely zero cost in terms of money. No, electricity is so much greener than petrol that I think my conscience wouldn't let me go back to petrol anymore. I didn't even think about petrol costs anymore. I've just completely forgotten about that. I couldn't even tell you how much petrol is a litre now, and I don't want to know. Petrol's, every time I go into a service station now, it's usually just to buy food. And they say, any petrol? I said, no, never buy any more petrol. Oh, why is that? Well, I've got an electric car. Haven't you got one?